It has been a crazy 6 days since the pass opened in this mega Strife of the 8 KvK. So what I'd like to do is give you a quick update on how everything is going. We'll review the update from the devs, including the face-to-face. Let's get started. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and you're looking at the Hall of Heroes on my main account, which, yeah, I've accumulated quite a few dead troops. In fact, way more archers than I had expected in this massive Strife of the 8 KvK in the Season of Conquest. And, you know, it's not just on my main where I've lost quite a few troops. If I flip over to my farm real quick, I have been dumping ridiculous amounts of troops from my farm into forts and flags and other things that need defending because, yes, having a high-powered farm is really powerful. In fact, it's probably just the meta. So here is my farm where I can dump ridiculous amounts of troops into things. And I don't know, it defaulted to my T3 when I had sent every single T4 I had at the time into a structure. Hooray! So let me give a quick update reviewing the map and everything that's happening. And I'm going to do that from my restart account so I can show it to you without teasing any of the markers. We'll look at every single zone, and, well, let's start with the zone we're fighting for right now. Just a quick reminder, though, there were 8 Imperium kingdoms at the start of this KvK, and several have already left the Imperium status. That is 945 and 664, 1093, and 1075. And for those of you who were keeping track of that sort of thing, that is 2 Imperium kingdoms from each side have now departed from Imperium status. But if we go and we actually get a look here, you can see, oh baby, if we go from the part, again, where we're fighting in the upper left, it's been a crazy battle for this zone. We started with a wall of forts, not exactly a wall of forts, but a line of forts over here. And now we have an actual proper, defensive row or line of forts over here. We have like 9 forts down, I think. I haven't actually counted recently. And someone made a very funny joke about how few forts we are needing to defend this area, which has been very tough. We're starting to lose some flags up over that were here, and that is because they set up for a triple rally. Triple rallies on a flag are pretty nuts. They also had doubles going on over here on our flags, pushing us into our defensive line of forts, which is going to be very interesting to see if we can hold for even the amount of time it would take for the next pass to open, which is still some number of days away. But my gosh, is it going to be absolutely freaking hilarious if we can survive that long against such a ridiculously strong and populous kingdom. Let me tell you, you can't burn a flag if you can't get the field, and you can't get the field against a kingdom that has way, way, way more players than you. In fact, this is not just speculation. If you were to go and watch the video I did, where we were battling 5v5, I had my best equipment, and I was battling against Cortex, and I got way better equipment than him, and my commanders are in a really, like, all expertise, whatever that I was using, and he was not using all expertise commanders. He still took me down to, like, you know, in a 5v5, 3 to 2 marches, and they were half health. So if you just take that in for a second and understand how important numbers are, a T5 player like myself, even with tech, can do well in the field, but if you're outnumbered, you're going to get wrecked. It's just fact. You're going to get wrecked and you will be taken down, and we are quite outnumbered. They just have so many more players, and that's not a criticism of them. It's just like an observation of reality of how the field has evolved. So, with that said, because we couldn't get field, we couldn't hold ground. As we lost ground, we had to collapse into this position, and this is the position that we're now in for many days in a row, holding down the fort, literally. So, this is the spot. Double and triple rallies all freaking over the place, and if we last long enough, I guess we enter this zone to have a fight with 556, who has done no fighting all KvK. They wanted to fight us, so did 846. It's very funny. I get a lot of weird messages complaining about the city popping we've been doing. So city popping, or cheeseburgering, if you will, is where you pop out of a city, hit somebody, trade positive, and pop back in. And even if you don't trade positive, you're wearing down their marches. So they have to refresh and you push them off the position. And it's just very funny how many people are saying you're chickens for city popping when, like, we are battling a kingdom much bigger than us. And you did tell us you wanted us to come out. So you can't call us chickens and call us out and say that, please come fight us in the same breath, right? Come on. But, you know, there's always people who are doing the trash talking, and the leadership are two different groups. So you just got to keep that in mind. I literally have messages where the same person says, come fight us, bro. Let's play. And then in the next message, they're like, you're chicken. You're a jackass. And it's like, oh, my God. All right. We're going to keep city popping. That's just the meta. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Whew. Deep breath, everybody. Deep breath. So that's what's going on in this part of the battlefield. Don't mind my passion. Actually, mind my passion. In 474, they were able to take this zone. This was the go both ways zone. We're going both ways. When 846 challenged both zones literally to fight at the same time, and then within 47 minutes decided they're just going to focus us. But we're chickens. Is what it is. And so 474 took this zone with very little fighting. It was kind of like one or two waves of open fielding, and then that was that. If we get a look down over here, and by the way, that's not a criticism of that decision. I think it was insane for them to try to go two ways, and that would have cost them dearly to do that. I think this was a much smarter choice for them. They get to double and triple rally us as much as they want, because we can't control the field. We can't control how those positions evolve, which inevitably they get to those spots and then have much better opportunities to trade well. So it just makes sense for them to go one way. I don't understand the go two ways thing, but we were, by the way, going this way, either way, regardless of that challenge to go both ways. So hopefully that doesn't stir up drama in the way that I presented that information. It probably will, because, I don't know, anything I say will create drama because I'm a content creator and people want to do that. But okay, so that's what's going on up there. Over here, our allies are fighting 664, and this is 945 that's fighting them. And I have to say, like, 664 is doing a similar defensive maneuver to what we're doing, and it works well. Like, it's a good defensive maneuver. The forts are very difficult to deal with. They're very difficult to deal with. And, I mean, we were defending flags and still trading positive when you count the AoE. I know that people are going to say, no, we're trading positive for the people that we're battling against, because they don't see the report with all the AoE. And not every report is trade positive, but the majority of them are, which is why we're like, fine, we'll defend the flags if we can trade positive in those, you know? And as soon as we can no longer do that consistently, we fall back, right? And which is what is happening now. So over here, there is still a very similar sort of a skirmish unfolding where there's just a massive amount of forts to deal with. And I actually think, like, they could block access to this zone for 945 in the same way. Well, maybe not in the same way. We're not blocking access to the zone over here. This is a fair distinction. They've got one pass. We've got one pass, right? If I get a look at the defensive formation over here, what's interesting about how 664 did this is they've got one pass here and the other pass over here. So I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know how 945 is kind of prioritizing their attack, but I might assume that they're going to try to free up this pass so they can enter into the zone and do kind of whatever they want to do over there. So that's what's going on in this portion of the map. It's sort of the inverse of the situation we're in, where an enemy kingdom has pushed us. This is an allied kingdom over here, and they're pushing in the opposing side. And all the way on the right side of the map, this is 254. They've taken control of Okuri. That is largely because 664 really only went one way, which I think is a smart strategic choice. And then up top, 93 is also rocking a similar bleed out strategy. And what I think is so interesting about this is I kind of wonder if we could have maneuvered into this position ourselves sooner, completely blocking access to the zone. I don't think we expected to do as well as we even did. And so I don't think that it is feasible or realistic that we could have held this area and this area. And what I also notice when I look at the map is, like, geographically, this seems like a much easier zone to hold both passes than the one that we're in, doesn't it? Like in the zone that we're in, you got to get all the way around this corner and the next corner. Something about the design of those zones, although I'm sure it's symmetric in however they've done this, is very interesting. That, like, I don't know that there's the same way that for us with the geography that we have to have done a double pass maneuver as they did here, which I think is pretty impressive, right? They've got like one bump out to deal with, whereas I think we had, what was it, two? Well, I mean, like one, and then you got to get to this area over here. I don't know. And then if I go, again, to 93 over here, they've done a really good job. This, I guess, is probably, is this a symmetric port? I don't know. I'm too tired to think about symmetry, okay? They're doing a good job holding down this area right over here. And some of these forts are probably burning, and some of them, quite frankly, probably are not. Yeah, repairing. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it takes a lot of doing to get through all these darn forts, especially while the tech is where it's at right now. You can have 3 million in the fort, and you can't have 3 million in the rally. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that evolves and where our allies end up going. If they're not able to get access to this zone over here, because pretty much every fort's got a back fort, and like that's a pretty tough nut to crack, quite frankly. That's a pretty tough nut to crack. So in terms of the total number of zones that like we have control over, there are 5 zones that we have control over, and there are 3 zones that the enemy kingdoms have control over, right? That's up over here. There's 1, 2, and 3 that they've got control over, and we have control over the other zone 5s. I say control because, like, I mean, like, we're still here. The enemy kingdoms that our allies are battling against, they're still there. And there's a lot you can do with access to a zone, man. I feel like some of the most fun I've had in KvK by a not small margin is just goofing off in the back. Like, I've been going on these secret spy operations every now and then when I'm like kind of bored that are the funniest things that I have possibly ever done playing Rise of Kingdoms. In fact, I should have made a video and like recorded this guy teleporting to try to chase our marches. We sent a couple Barb Fort rallies like deep into the enemy lines. And man, like, we just went around killing, you know, gatherers and AFK Barb marches, and it was the most fun I've possibly had. This dude teleported around literally somewhere between 5 and 10 times to try to hit our marches. It was very fun. It was very fun. So the disruption you can do is actually kind of hilarious. So let me just talk very briefly about some of these system messages that came out. The face-to-face of the developers, this was very interesting to me. Something about rankings for Ark of Osiris, but most importantly, the 5th season of Ark of Osiris is coming very, very soon, so I'm very hyped about that. There's a new Soroli boss that should, I mean, be interesting to battle, right? My feeling is that they should reduce the grind for players that have been doing that for a very long time, because unlike other games where you advance past the loot at some point, you always need the loot, and so it's an endless grind. So ways that reduce that endless grind are important, but eager to see an extra boss, especially if it is more loot and an extra boss, as I was saying. The gameplay for holiday events is always very similar. Do you have any fun new events planned? Let me give you a moment of truth about that for just a second, which is that as a content creator, it's very challenging to cover the same style of event over and over and over because you run out of things to say. Like, how much can I teach you about certain holiday events that are the same as the last time we had a holiday event, right? And they said, we take requests for new content made by our governors very seriously. We'll continue to explore and test out new ideas. We're currently experimenting with adding storylines to our event, as well as some unique forms of dialogue interactions. So I will say story and dialogue, I almost always skip. It's things that are like when we were battling those guys that kind of spawned in and they dropped tons of gold. That's interesting and different. I don't think they should have like a you got pwned misery, unlucky people, misfortune people. It just makes people feel bad, but it's also kind of funny. But, you know, like events like that, I think are kind of interesting. They spice it up a little bit. The challenge is, you know, that It'd be nice to have some of that new stuff every now and then, but players always want new stuff, right? Of course we do. In addition, we're also planning some new event formats. See, that's what I'm talking about. That enrich my holiday experience. That's all I want in life. Please just enrich my life, okay? And enrich my life by giving me a better holiday experience. That's great. These plans are still being finalized. We expect them to be available in later releases. That's cool. And why can't chat messages be recalled? We take this suggestion very seriously. I think it's interesting. Every now and then you say something and you're like, I kind of wish I didn't say that. Or you might say something and it has a typo and it's just like, well, I'm just going to look like a bozo for the rest of time because you can't recall it. So yes, that would be nice. And also, gosh bless the PC version of Rise of Kingdoms. Obviously had our expectation like it could be here anytime. I know Cortex was like, bro, we could have the PC version for this KvK. How cool would that be? But coming soon for a brand new version, basically, of the game. I mean, they got to rebuild the game, I guess, for PC, all the front end, not the back end. And that is, I'm sure, very complicated, which is what they're saying. Like, actually, it's pretty complex. We have a lot to do. We have to test, and we have to get it right, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, all of that makes sense. I hope that they do release that soon-ish, but it sounds like it's months away. Over the next 2 months, we'll gather feedback from governors. I would guess 3 to 5 months that they finally are ready to release the PC version of the game. It's just going to take forever. And the Thanksgiving show patch notes, man, I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. We're going to have a pass open, I think, on Thanksgiving. I think Kingsland is like Happy Thanksgiving, baby. But I was going to use a different B word to describe that. So Thanksgiving events are coming. There is a might, and I don't even know how to pronounce this word. I honestly, genuinely don't know. Munificence? Munificence? What does that mean? Complete the quest for 7 days for great rewards. There's a feast. Oh yeah, we've done this feast stuff before, man. If you watch my old Thanksgiving videos, and maybe for laughs, you can go see what I was like as a content creator then, okay? I'll have a card up in the top. You can check that out. It'll show you the feast event and how that works. You collect ingredients and get some Thanksgiving meals going. That's fine. And then feast with your alliance, sure. Arms training Lohar is going to be back. Thanksgiving sales, limited edition resource bundles. Well, that will be interesting to see. They're announcing a bundle, which do they always do that? I guess this time Thanksgiving last year, didn't they come out with the huge resource bundle? The something Harvest Bounty or whatever is a lot of resources. Eve of the Crusade or a later season. Events will go live within a week of the update. See the calendar. Huh. Okay. Cool. And the official start of Osiris League Season 5 is on its way. We've optimized the final system to automatic reward victory to the winner of the first 2 rounds without the need for a third. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, if you've already won, there's no point for the final match. They've improved the rewards available for the playoffs. Is kind of cool. Optimize the rewards in the top 32. Oh, and dev thoughts. This is very interesting. I actually really like that they add some dev thoughts in here. Our ultimate aim here is to provide governors with a more exciting and engaging Osiris League. We feel that these adjustments to league spectatorship and participation, as well as improvements in the overall rewards, should do that. For instance, alliances that make it into the round of 16 will now receive even better single match victory rewards. Okay. I mean, and they go up as they increase. We'll see exactly what those rewards are like. I think people are in it for the win. You either win or you don't. And if you don't, people don't even remember, right? Like, I hate to say it, but I don't know. Unless maybe the people that make it to the finals, people remember, but I just think that's the reality. A Soroli Crisis, new boss. Cool. Dakar. Poisonous Arts. Ooh, lurks with his forces in the dark forest depths, ready to inflict marks and poison spells upon trespassers. That's kind of like me with my Pakal. I'm ready to inflict marks and poison spells upon trespassers of my bridge. Actually, it's just Harold's axe. In Champions of Olympia, they've done a few updates. They've added a new exclude feature to matchmaking. Can you ban something? Picks and bans? Anybody? We've added 10 new optional skills. Cool. Ooh, new skills is cool. We've noticed how popular the all-out skill is proven, owing to the strong long-range firepower. On the other hand, troops in Arrow Tower do seem to become extremely passive and lose considerable offensive power. So they're making some changes. That's cool. Again, the dev thoughts is really cool. Like, what are you thinking, bro? Is actually a great addition to this. It also makes the developers feel a lot more human rather than like, you know, like beep boop, here is your list of patch notes, boop boop boop. Like it feels more personal because they're being personal, which is really cool, right? Like their intention was never to just, you know, come across as like faceless, but by having dev thoughts, it's like feels more personal. All right, whatever. We've imposed a new restriction on the bounty of the ancients. You have to be City Hall 8 and above. Okay, I don't know why they did that. Added a new great value for money. 30-day research speed up supply. Would have loved that before I had T5 in the supply depot. Improved the mail system with an option to permanently retain selected save mails. Ooh. Yes, there are some battle reports I would like to permanently save. Added some Alliance symbol designs, incorporating many outstanding designs from the anniversary event, Totem Design event. That's actually super chill. I actually really like that. Added a new quest type to the daily objective. Governors who have unlocked the blacksmith will now have an extra reward to claim after crafting equipment materials, which you will do every single day. Awesome. All in all, this is pretty standard stuff. I don't mean that as a knock against what we're getting, but like there's probably some really big thing down the road. What would a big change be that I'd be eager to see? A new KvK format, a new Ark of Osiris map. Those are like the biggest two on my list where like, yeah, that actually would change a lot and be like a big change. Obviously also the PC version is pretty major. So that's what's going on in Rise of Kingdoms, man. I'm going to keep fighting. You know, when I get tired, I try to focus more on having fun with the team rather than streaming when I'm exhausted. You know, we've lost the last couple KvKs, so usually when we're in the worst moments of losing, that means I'm not streaming. I know, I'm like, let me get in before the comment says, you just don't stream when you lose. Let me beat you to the punch, okay? And just say, like, when I'm exhausted, I don't know. I mean, I didn't even make a video. Like, I'm just busy, and I'm just having fun, okay? So I want to make daily content for you every single day, but of course, I gotta be there for my team. I gotta be there for the team. Ruzz's joke is that it's and he said this in voice the other day. It's Kingdom Alliance YouTube channel account. That's, you know, like in 75 we borrowed from 401 and took Kingdom before Alliance before account, right? Ruzz just sort of inserted YouTube channel in between Alliance and account. Anyways, all right. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, throw a like on here. Consider subscribing. I'm going to go back to taking some double rallies or triple rallies or whatever the hell's going on in our KvK right now. It's a damn good time, though. I'm having fun. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies.